Good afternoon all. Thank you so much for waiting for me. I'm glad that you didn't exit. I tried to be as fast as possible. Well, I'm bringing here today the use of Pathfinder as an evacuation tool, as you can read, especially in some two cases that I'm presenting here in my hometown in Porto, Portugal. So, well, we can skip this. Of course, everyone knows that finding out the egress time is paramount, and measuring using fire drills is sometimes awkward, it's not easy. So simulation tools like Pathfinder, especially if they are well used and if they are properly tuned and calibrated, can be fantastic tools, at least to give you an idea of the evacuation times, and especially for certain situations and what-if simulations. Well, these are some fantastic things that Pathfinder has already. So, going straight through Casa da Musica. Casa da Musica is a recent concert hall. It was designed by the architect Rem Koolhaas, and it was opened in 2005. And this is basically a concert hall that has two main auditoriums. The big one has a capacity around 1,100 people. The parterre is 1,069. And using some real data collected from actual events and looking to the CCTV footage, we could realize that the real time of deoccupation, it's not egress, it's not evacuation, it's the time that people tend to leave after the concerts, was in a few concerts here. Well, these are the data. And the results from Pathfinder are obviously more optimistic. Of course, people were not struggling to get out, they were quietly getting out. Nevertheless, we did a small video showing up how people normally exit. We can notice that the rear exits up there are closed typically, so this will lead that people from the first parterre will obviously exit faster than the other ones, which will be held up there. So it's quite obvious that in an emergency situation we need to open these doors. But one thing that is most evident from videos like this is that to show up the emergency, to the evacuation team, the importance of having people standing up near those exits, ready to open the doors in case of need. Okay, move on. Yes. This is another auditorium, the smaller one. This auditorium has a maximum capacity of 650 persons standing, or 250 seated. And funny enough, the times are similar. Twice the time needed during a normal leaving the room compared with Pathfinder. I think there was a video here showing, but nevertheless, no. Okay, the other study here is from probably the oldest existing concert hall in the city. Odd or not, 20 years ago it was almost destroyed or partially destroyed in a very bad fire Fortunately, it was during night and no casualties occurred. Just for a side note, I was seeing the previous presentation and it came to me that the worst fire in Portugal, as far as I know, it was precisely in Porto and in a theater where 120 people died in 1888. So it was the time where the theaters were burning a lot. So this is a view of the main auditorium of Coliseu Porto. And, well, yes, there was a film here showing people egressing from it. And this was quite interesting because we had not a dispute, but we have an arguments with the authorities because we intended to increase the capacity of this concert hall in 500 persons. And the firemen and the people, the authorities were arguing that that was not possible because it would increase a lot the risks for the people. And using Pathfinder, we could show them that the increase of time was minimum because this concert hall has a lot of exits, and they are very well designed. And for instance, one graph that I have in the presentation in the paper is precisely showing that during the evacuation process, no more than 200 or 250 people stand in this corridor here. So basically the congestion is inside the room, but then people flow freely outside. Because the firemen were discussing that we have only two exits. One is for the back side and the other one in front. And they said that only two exits was not good. Of course, it's not good. But nevertheless, we could prove using Pathfinder that in 3-4 minutes tops, most of the people would get out. And eventually, we have been recording exit times of the shows and concerts in the past few months. And we noticed that the times predicted by Pathfinder are very much reasonable and very much near the reality. So basically, Pathfinder is a fantastic aid because we can do quick prototyping and use it as a what if to prepare many what if scenarios, and as a valuable aid to prepare fire drills and even to train the evacuation teams in this kind of facilities. Nevertheless, it's very important to have in mind the GIGO rule, garbage in, garbage out. So when using this kind of simulations, we really must calibrate them and try to see whether they are giving reasonable results or not. And that's it. Thank you very much, Brian. Okay.
Do we have questions? I know everybody wants to get to the reception. We can wait a minute just for one question. If any. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay, great.
This guy made you all late to the reception now. Now you know. Okay, here you are.
I found it very interestingly. I thought a great idea of actually trying to correlate or get an idea of your RSET time from how long it takes to clear out the auditorium after an event. Have you got any sort of comments as to how that would compare to an evacuation?
I didn't follow exactly complete your question. Please.
Beg your pardon. So you've sort of correlated
Yes.
what you think your RSET will be compared to how long it takes for people to leave the music hall at the end of a performance.
Yeah.
Do you expect there'd be much difference between the two?
Yes, as you notice, the time is almost the double. But nevertheless, we can see that, for instance, in this case, the times are practically the double, okay? But we have to take into account that people are living quietly, they are talking with each other, they are not in an emergency mood, so to speak. So, of course, we have to take this cautious. When I first used Pathfinder and showed them to the authorities, they said, oh, forget it, this is too optimistic, you are showing me computer graphics, so forget it, this is games, whatever. But then, when we show this kind of figures, they start realizing, well, okay, that probably it's possible, because the figures are not that, of course it's the double of the time, but it's not that far. And actually, I have done a different work. I could not show here, but and I wouldn't. It would be impossible to show you. But I have the actual footage of the video recording of people leaving the room, and how many people have exit through the time. And comparing the data with the Pathfinder results, we can see that there is a correlation. That's what precisely you were talking about. And in the beginning of the exit, it's pretty much equivalent, okay? But then people tend, the later ones tend to talk with friends and greet some persons, and then the difference starts to, the line starts to split, so to speak. But nevertheless, we can realize that there is a correlation between both, and we can rely on these figures.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, any others?
Reception.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.